Hey, everybody. I'm double checking to make sure that our systems are working properly, that you can hear me. Hopefully, the mute button is off, that you can see me, and that we're broadcasting in the multiple places that we are choosing to broadcast. Michelle, hi. I see you. I see you right there. Let me make sure I turn on my live chat. We are ready. So it sounds like and looks like we are a go. All right. I want to welcome everybody, first of all, to the very first live stream of 2020 for our shop. So, Get Noticed with Video is in full effect. And tonight we're going to do episode 1 of our Visibility with Video show. This is a live streaming show, excuse me, that we do each week. Typically on Thursdays or Fridays. We're going to be flip-flopping a little bit early on at 5:30 p.m. So thank you so much for joining in. My engagement question for you about tonight's topic is this. So you said, this is what you said. This is one of your resolutions about your business. You said, oh, I'm going to do more video marketing. I'm going to use more video strategies in 2020. So my question for you is this. Do you have a plan? Do you know what you're going to talk about? Do you know who you're talking to? What's your strategy? What's your game plan? And if you don't know the answer to that, I'm going to give you some tips and a little advice tonight because we're going to talk about the 10 starter topics. So, ideas that you can use to get started with coming up with content for your live streams. We'll do that right when I get back. Alrighty, hi Roz. Good to see you. I'm so excited because I feel like there are so many things coming together for 2020, and this is just the best, the absolute best time for you, for me, for many of us, our business colleagues, to be able to, yes, my plan, watch Tanya, for us to be able to come together and to create just beautiful messaging and to deliver our services to more people. And I believe truly that you can do that by using more video as long as you're doing it strategically. And it's not about you becoming a professional videographer, it's more about having a content strategy, having a plan around what you're doing with your marketing. So I've been talking about content marketing since at least 2010 or so. And this is one of my favorite things to do. Let's go ahead and dive in because I want to get you this information before we have to wrap. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you right up front, I have been struggling. So for those of you who have followed me for some time, you know that I have been struggling for a little bit with some type of cough that it just is persistent and will not go away. So if you do have tips on how to get rid of that thing, put them in the comments because I am researching, I'm looking, trying to get some help. And I've tried everything so far, including antibiotics, a second round of that. None of it's working. So I need to get rid of this so that I can do more video without interruptions and disruptions. Thank you so much for that comment on the intro graphic. I appreciate it. Yep, I did that. I'll have to tell you what I used for that. So make sure, remind me towards the end, because I don't want to get off topic too much, but remind me towards the end and I'll make sure. I did go to the doctor too. I'm going to have to go back a third time because it's just not going away. All right, let's dive into the content because that's what you're here for. You don't want to hear my woes. Besides, I'm doing great. It's 2020. We're all here. I am super great. Okay, 2020, our game plan. The first thing that I wanted to ask, and I asked this earlier, is what is your game plan? If you're going to do more video, how are you going to come up with topics? And so, one of the ways, and this is a suggestion I'm going to give you before I dive into the top 10 list or the list of 10 things that I would share with you to do for generating content topics. One of the things that I like to do is to actually come up with themes. And honestly, I've always done this. I'm going to take a cough drop real quick. But I've always done this for just about any type of content marketing that I've done in the past. It's easier for me to do this, and I'm saying for me because here's what I want to tell you. Let me give you this disclaimer. As I walk through this process and kind of share some tips with you, remember you have to own your own process. So what works for some people may not work for you. Just because the content strategies and the tips and tactics that I share with you work for me, it doesn't necessarily mean that it fits your life. Hold on. So what you want to do is to make sure that you adopt those parts of this process and of these strategies and tips that I'm going to share with you that fit your lifestyle, that fit your business, and that will work the best. Okay? So I'm going to say that first. But I also want to share with you, yes, use themes. Okay, so here's my tip. And Roz put it on there so that you can see it on screen. But here's the thing. When I use themes, especially when it comes to live video, so this is between us, right? And I am going to share more when we start talking about Livestream Liberation, which is my brand new course that's coming up in February. But themes have been like a godsend for me, especially creating video. Because when I first started, I was like, oh, I'm going to do a video every day. And you'll hear a lot of people being very aggressive. What it does is it shuts things down. Instead of it making you, driving you to actually do more, what it does is it becomes a paralysis mechanism. So it creates fear and anxiety because you're like, oh my God, I promised I was going to do it yesterday and I didn't do it yesterday. Oh no, 2 days have passed. It's sort of like exercise, which many of us, because it's New Year's time, have made these resolutions around our exercise habits and what we're going to do to be fit. But then if you fall off the wagon, you might do well for a week and then you fall off the wagon week 2. And then week 3, it's very difficult for you to get back into the groove. The same thing. The same thing happens when it comes to your content. And it becomes a distraction and it also becomes something that's a deterrent so you don't do more video. So here's what I would suggest. Think about reasonably what could fit into your calendar. Because Roz just mentioned, I have a lot of content, but not enough time to go live. I would argue with you or give you this challenge, Roz, and anybody else who's saying this, because all of you are probably saying the same thing. I don't have time. I would challenge you to find in your calendar a cadence. And if that is once a month, so be it. If it's once every 2 weeks, great. If it's once a week, even better. It doesn't have to be daily. Maybe it's 2 times a week. That didn't work for me. When I tried that, it just did not work. It didn't fit because there were too many other things that I had to move out of the way and not be able to do. So after experimenting for about a year, really almost the entire 2019, of trying to decide how often, how frequently I wanted to do this, I came up with once a week. Now, once you've decided what your cadence is, so really step number 1 is find your cadence, okay? That means what is the frequency that you're going to be willing to go live? And by willing, I mean, what are you committing to? Even if it's for 15 minutes, because really you don't have to go more than that. Let's say it's 5 minutes. The key is that you're committing to a specific time frame and you've put it into your calendar, and that now becomes your cadence. It's what you've committed to for your videos. So step number 2 is based on that cadence. You then decide, okay, if I have decided I'm going to go live twice a month, then I'm going to have to figure out how to put content into each of those 2 buckets every month. Now for me, because I go once a week, that's 4 times typically, 4 times in a month. And so what worked for me in terms of deciding a theme is that I thought, you know what? If I came up with kind of miniature themes, so 1 theme for each of those weeks, I have 4 themes now. So you want to be thinking about this first with the cadence, and thank you so much for typing those in. I appreciate that. And that's a really great point. Live once a month, the rest is pre-recorded to make up once a week. So this is Michelle's. This is the plan that she's come up with that works for her. And that's what I'm trying to express to you, is that you want to think about what is the strategy What is the cadence that's going to work best for me and for my reality? Because what somebody else told me has to be the way is not always the way. For those of you who are just coming in and you're seeing that I have something in my mouth, I have a cough drop. And I apologize because I know that probably appears to be rude in some people's eyes, but it's necessary for me to get through this content right now. Okay. Meanwhile, once you've decided on what your cadence is going to be, you know how many themes you want to come up with or buckets you want to come up with. Then you've got to decide what are those themes. And so I'm going to walk you through those 10 topic starters. And some of these are going to be tools and some of them are going to be tactics, okay? And some of them, if I have the time, I will try to demo for you because we have about 20 minutes left that I can record. All right, so let's dive in. When I talked about themes, I'm going to show you something really fast. I'm going to scoot on over here so that you can kind of see. I'm a big fan of color coding, okay? So notice I've just begun to put this into what's called a Trello board, Trello. So you'll see at the top, let me move my mouse so it can get all the way over there. There we go. So Trello, a lot of people use Trello for a number of different things. For me, I've used it to help me organize when it comes to content, and this is one of the things that I've decided to do is to create a weekly live streams Trello board. So don't steal my stuff, but insert your own topic into the Trello board format. And I'm going to be teaching more of this in detail. I wanted to kind of give you a quick view of what it looks like so that as I describe what I'm talking about, you'll get a feel for what I mean. Yes, I love Trello too, Roz. So when you are actually creating your content, you use it for project management. Yes, you can use it for so many different purposes. So what I've done in terms of my own Trello boards is you notice that there was a color coding. So the four themes that I've color coded are building confidence on camera, because that's a huge topic. I know that is a problem, a pain point for many of the people that I work with in terms of my Get Noticed with Video brand. So getting more confidence is one of the theme buckets. Another theme bucket for me is video content marketing. So how are you creating a marketing strategy using that? Another bucket might be how newbies get started using video. What are some of the basics? Because I don't do advanced level teaching when it comes to video. I end up moving people on to resources that I refer them to. I know that one of my focuses and one of my loves and my passion is for working with people in the newbie space to create a plan around video. And then the fourth thing for me, the fourth bucket, is the best video tools and tips. So now that I've created those buckets, and you're going to want to create buckets based on categories of information that you like to share for your expertise. So I want you to start brainstorming that as we're talking through this. What I've now done is created a board so that each month there are 4 topics, and each of the topics that I create falls under one of those themes. So when I look at my Trello board, and when you saw that, if you're rewinding or replaying this, what you'll notice is that there are different colors within each of the months. That's because each month is coordinated. I want to make sure, for instance, that I'm not doing 2 or 3 live streams that are talking about tools in the month of January. I want one of those live streams to be talking about tools. I want one to talk about how newbies get started. I want one to focus on content marketing and specific strategies. And I want one that's going to talk about building confidence. Okay. So you're thinking about this as you're listening to me in terms of your own business and how you can make that work if you're doing weekly. Now, if you're doing bi-weekly and you're only using 2 buckets, it may be less work, which is great. Okay, now let's go into the 10 because I want to share with you how to go about finding content to fill in these categories now. And so there is a list that I've kind of put together to make sure we stay on track. So here's number 1 of the 10. The first thing is to write down, I want you to brainstorm the top 10 most asked questions that anybody within your audience tends to ask about your business. The top 10 questions. So within that space, you now have created frequently asked questions that you can then do video on. Okay. Whether you break it up into, I'm going to do a video this week about the top 5 of my 10 list. And then next week, I'm going to do the second 5 of that top 10 list. Or maybe you'll break it down and do one each week. If you're doing dailies, that's perfect because that gives you 10 days worth of content right there for your live videos. So number one starter topic, or a topic starter rather, is FAQs. Starter number 2 is to crowdsource. This means asking your community, the people that are in your space, whether it's in a chat like we're doing right now in a Facebook live stream and you're looking in the comments and seeing what people are asking about and what they're talking about, which by the way, I do a lot. I go back and look at different past videos and kind of see what are some of the comments, what were some of the common questions that people kept asking. Ask your community, what do they want to know? Put a question out into your Facebook group. Ask in your LinkedIn community. Go on YouTube and put a question out there and see what comes back. So crowdsourcing is another idea starter. Number 3, and this one is going to be something that some of you may have heard of because I've talked about this in the past, but I went back to my old school marketing strategy and research classes that I used to teach and dug up some things that I thought, wow, I need to bring this back because this still is relevant. So number 3, to get some ideas for your content, is go on Amazon. Go to Amazon and look up the bestseller books in your niche, whatever the topic is that you focus on. Look up those bestseller books. And then here's what you're going to do. While you're in Amazon and you're looking at those books, you're going to do one of those look here or look at this. You know how you go in and you do the preview of the book? And you're going to look through the outline and the table of contents for the book. And you're going to get some ideas on what you could potentially talk about. So people have already broken this up for you and created these chapters of content and topics that would be ideal for others to know. They've probably paid a pretty good penny for some research and development for someone to help them to come up with this outline. So think about ways that you can leverage that. Now, do I mean that you want to plagiarize? No. What I'm saying is this gives you some ideas for content and topics that you want to further research and talk about to your own audience in your own way, in your own words. It's about creating ideas for your live video. Okay, so Amazon Books is another one. Let me double check and make sure we don't have any questions. Yes, polling your community is so important. Sometimes we often forget to I often forget. Let me say me. Maybe it's not you, but I forget to go back to my community and say, what do you think? Is there something that's on your mind that you really would rather me talk about versus whatever I had planned? Because whatever is going to be a solution that's right for them, that's amazing. That's exciting. That's perfect, right? That's what they're going to be willing to invest in. So remember that this is a business that you're in. It's not just a hobby where you're giving away free content all the time in your live video streams. It's also about how do you entice people to want more and to want to invest in your services and products. Okay, number 4 is a site called Uber Suggest. So let me see if I can pull this up for you and I'm going to do a quick demo. Uber Suggest is actually something that was created by a guy named Neil Patel. Some of you may have heard of him. He's a marketing guru. He's been out for a long time and just delivering nonstop, highly relevant, high quality content. Wonderful, wonderful person. Okay, so I'm going to switch over and show you this screen so that you can actually see the demo. Let's switch it. There we go. So Uber Suggest. What you're going to basically do here in Uber Suggest is type in keywords that are related to your topic. Let me back out of that. There we go. So keywords that are related to your topic. So let's say, for instance, you talk about diabetes prevention. What you could do if you have a lot of content inside of your own domain is type in your domain and do this search. But we're just going to type in using a keyword. And once you type this in, it's going to give you several different related topics and suggested longer phrases and keywords that people look up in order to find that information. It also will give you information on how frequently people are actually looking up the phrase or the keywords that you put in. And it could take a little time. As you see, it's buffering some, probably because I'm doing this live stream right now. But look over here on the left, and it will give you keyword ideas, content ideas. It's a traffic analyzer, an SEO analyzer, and there's just so much more in here. I don't want to take too long if it's going to continue to buffer. There we go. All right. So it's going to give you some stats and metrics and all kinds of other good stuff. But what I really want you to pull out of here will be some potential ideas for topics that you can talk about within the space of where you play. So if diabetes prevention is one of those spaces that we play in, look, there's ideas about exercise, about food, about prevention, a diet plan. So think of all the many ways that you could potentially come up with ideas for your live stream topic by simply typing in keywords into this tool. It's super duper handy and it's free to use. So why not? So Uber suggests. Yes, thank you so much for typing that in. I appreciate it. I love when my audience is interactive and you're helping out. So thank you for that. Number 5 is sites besides Uber Suggest. There's a couple of other sites that I would recommend. One is called Quora, Quora. And what Quora is basically a treasure chest full of questions about various topics from all kinds of things anything you can think about that people might ask, you're probably going to find those questions there in Quora. Also, Reddit is another one. So I would combine the two and say sites like Quora and Reddit, Reddit. Reddit is it's a little funky to navigate and it takes some getting used to, but if you type in some keywords into Reddit, you'll also find that there probably are some discussions and some groups and chat communities that focus on that topic where they're talking about your topic of expertise. People are asking questions, people are answering questions, people are talking about their pain points. So again, there's a common theme in all the things that I'm sharing with you. When it comes to you trying to figure out what you're going to talk about in your videos, you want to be making sure that you're connected to what people really want to know, right? So these are all ideas that can help you to find ways to tackle that in your live stream videos. Another one, number 6, is Answer the Public. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with Answer the Public. I'll try to show you this one really quick too. AnswerThePublic.com has been out for a while. What you're going to want to do when you type into Answer the Public, and I'm switching over here in just a second. When you go into Answer the Public, what it is a site where you can actually put, see down here, you're going to make sure you have the appropriate language, whatever the language is for your topic and for your space, your audience. There is a pro version that gives you even more information, but when you type in a keyword here, and for sake of time, I'm not going to do that right now, but you can click and you can find out what are some common questions and content ideas. Again, this is another free site. Although you can upgrade, I have not had a need to do that so far. So Answer the Public is another place for you to go and to get some ideas. All right, number 7. Let's pull up the list. I'm multitasking right now here. Number 7, another way for you to come up with ideas for your live video is to do a tool audit. By that, what I mean is look at your own industry. Think about what you have used, what tools and apps and software, other resources you've used that give you the most value and help you to be most successful in that space. And then if you believe, based on your customer and your consumer feedback, that your customers and your clients can benefit from some of these tools as well, what you're going to do is then share these different tools with them. And I'll tell you how I did this. I used to do this, I think it was probably around 2012, 2013 or so. On YouTube, I used to deliver what I call a click of the week. So every week I get on YouTube and I do a live review. Actually, it wasn't live at the time, it was pre-recorded. But I would record the screen and I would record myself inside of an app or a piece of software or a tool that I'd found that made life easier for me and my business. And I would review that tool and give some pros and cons and talk about the pricing and talk about whether or not I recommend it, if people should use it, and even, show a little demo. So what are some tools in your business that might be helpful that you could do a review on. That's another area where you can create live video topics. Number 8, and we're moving pretty quickly now because I know we're almost at time, but number 8 is interview another expert. So you're not always the one with all the ideas. And I'm telling myself this, you're not the only one with ideas. Go out and interview other people. So I've started actually tapping my friends who are experts in the space of video or in content marketing or other strategy that's related to what I do. I've started tapping them and saying, hey, I want to interview you and talk about your favorite whatever, right? As long as it's relevant and something that's going to fit into my buckets, that now becomes a video starter, right? So this is an idea for yet another live video. And then number 9 is a how-to. So if you have a process that is unique to your business and to what you do, or a step-by-step way that you have of doing things, just like I showed you my Trello board, that can become another video topic for you. And then number 10, this is the final one, I promise, is journal. So take your journal, adopt a journal wherever you want to find one. And by the way, I love the new brand called Capital Chic Designs. I think that's what it is. CAPITOL, Capital Chic Designs. It's made by an African American woman, and it's a series of stickers and journals and all kinds of planner pads because I'm like a planner geek. And I found out from my friend Valerie that these were in existence at Michael's. So at Michael's, you can go and pick up your handy dandy little journal. They're so diverse. I love them. But pick up one of those little dot grid journals. And as you are thinking about wins and epic fails that are happening in your own business, as you're applying some of the things that you teach and talk about in your own videos, I want you to be writing down your personal experiences, because those personal experiences now are becoming starter for your video. So we've gotten FAQs, crowdsourcing, Amazon Books, Uber Suggest, sites like Quora and Reddit, Answer the Public, tool audits, so looking at your own tools and evaluating which ones you might want to share on video, interviewing with another expert, how-tos, and then journaling your personal experiences. I hope that you can take any one or a bundle of these different suggestions that I've given you for starting off and creating content for your live videos, and that you can use it effectively. And if you have any other ideas, I want you to make sure you put those in the comments too. So I'm checking to see if there are any questions about any of this. Roz, thank you so much for being kind of my virtual assistant today and sharing. I'm good at journaling. I'm horrible at journaling, but I'm going to get better. I have been in the past bad at journaling. I'm getting better every day, and I'm starting to use it definitely more for video content, because I think that it's great when you can tell personal stories and talk about things that are working and things that are not working. People can learn from your mistakes as well as your wins. So why not? And sometimes it's hard to remember those things when you need them, so that's why I'm suggesting the journal. And you can use that as excellent content foundation for your videos for your next live stream. Alrighty, folks. Oh, you said you're not good at journaling. Yeah, okay. Well, we have not. We're going to reframe that and say, in the past, we haven't been good at journaling, but moving forward in 2020, we're getting better at it. You and me both, Roz. All right, folks. Thank you so much for checking in tonight. I am going to go ahead and wrap because I have an appointment immediately after this, but I hope that you can use these tips. Come back and join us every week. We're typically going to be on Thursdays live at 5:30 p.m. Central. If you are not yet getting reminders about when we go live, then make sure to sign up. First of all, sign up and subscribe at my website, which is getnoticedwithvideo.com. And if you do getnoticedwithvideo.com/scripts, or you're on the home page, you should see a pop-up to allow you to get my free video templates. All you got to do is plug and play your own content, your business information into these templates, and then use them to become your scripts to record your first 5 to 6 videos. It's awesome. Really easy to use. And also visit our new training center, which you'll see all of that when you go to the website. But I have just so appreciated you spending the time watching this. If you felt that this was good information, please let me know in the comments and share it with a friend to come watch as well. And make sure you give me a like. But I'll be back next week with even more information for you on how to create a practical video strategy. You don't have to become a videographer. You just need to know how to use the marketing strategy and to get more confident about doing videos. And so we want to help you do that. All right, take care and have a good rest of the evening. I'll see you next week.